Last year's cattails. This is what they look like. Kind of the dead leaves, but the root is still alive. Just goes dormant during the winter time. And in my region it's still pretty early spring, even though it's mid-May. The growing season's real short here. And I just wanted to show you an edible that's coming up among cattails. Cattails are the king of the edibles. There's tons of things you can eat off of the cattail every part of the year, and many parts of the plant itself are edible, as well as very useful. So we'll touch more on cattails later. But right now I just wanted to have you focus on down here. These are some young cattail shoots that are coming up here. They're digging up the ground close to the bank of this inlet to the creek. This is what they look like, and these are anywhere between 12 and 18 inches tall. And among some thistles here, thistles are also edible, but we're going to focus on the cattails right now. And so right now, in a clean area, this is off the side of the road off a runoff, so this wouldn't be very safe to try and eat or try to harvest these cattails at the moment. But I just wanted to take an opportunity as I was walking along to show you what part is edible. So as these are coming up off the ground from roots, from roots that are underneath the lawn here, you can go ahead, and these are picked off of rhizomes here. A little netting for the this is blocking off the growth area there. Alright, get rid of that. Alright, so if I just pull this up, if I can be gentle about it. There you go. You've got the white stalk, and this white part is edible. And this is good part. This whole part here is edible. We'll find another one here that'll probably be better. I get some better leverage here. Pull this up. There we go. There it is. So this white part is edible from the tip here all the way up, and this is growing from a corm, from the base, from the root. The root is also edible as well. You can make some starch, make it as a thickener. You can break up the root as a thickener. You can also make flour out of it. But right now this is the early spring shoot, and they're edible raw as it is. But again, this is I don't know about this area, so I'm not going to eat too much of this. But yeah, you can. I just took a little nibble there. It shouldn't hurt me, but I wouldn't advise it. You want to make sure you're at least 50 feet away from any roads or runoff, and I'm about that. But this is kind of a treated area over here, so I wouldn't use this area as a lauder or an area to come and harvest a whole bunch of cattails and live off of. But I just wanted to take the opportunity to show you at this stage, early spring, the cattail, and what part you can eat. And you just take them and pop it straight up, just pull it straight up, and there you go. The white part is what you want to eat. Alright, here's another edible. This is yellow dock. Yellow dock Rumex crispus. And right now it's about ready to harvest. They're very, very early spring edible. The leaves are. They're also known as sour dock. I mean, if you eat a raw leaf, a raw tip, it's kind of got a sour, tangy taste to it. You can use them as a spinach substitute. That works pretty well. And this is kind of a small plant. I mean, most people consider it a weed, and where I'm at right now is kind of a cultivated area. But I just wanted to take this moment to kind of show you what this plant looks like. It ends up growing in a flowering stalk by midsummer. And let's see, I've eaten the leaves as a spinach substitute and lasagna, added as a pot herb. And the roots also have medicinal properties as well, which I believe is good for the liver and pancreas. So this is a good plant to know. There's a lot of quote-unquote weeds that we have that are very, very good, both to eat and also that are good medicinally. And I can see some young jewelweed coming up. And these are these little plants here. Little young jewelweed, and there's stinging nettle nearby, and so the jewelweed would help with the stinging nettle. over here we've got a thistle, and it looks like a bull thistle to me. I can't really tell, but you don't want to touch this because it's going to hurt. But if you had some gloves, when it grows a stalk, you can shave off the thorns with the blade perpendicular to the stalk to shave off the thorns, and you can eat the stalk. It's kind of got a tangy cucumber taste. But yeah, these thistles, if you can get past the thorns, they're also edible as well. And this looks like it'll grow and flower into a bull thistle, a very tall bull thistle. Alright, on the side of the path here, I've got a couple of plants that I want to show you real quick in their younger stages. Early spring stage are very important plants. The first one is this broadleaf plant right here. This is going to end up growing into burdock, or Articum lappa. This is an edible plant. The roots are edible. It's known as gobo in Japan. Below that you can see dandelion that's coming up. That's edible as well. And then here we've got plantain. This is a good plant to know for first aid, as well as the young leaves, especially at this stage, are edible. And then here we have Rumex crispus, which is yellow dock, or curly dock, or sour dock. These two plants, I'm just going to pick a leaf of each so you can see the difference. I'll pick one of these. Okay, this is, you'll hear the word dock, and then you hear burdock. And you can see the difference. See, this is yellow dock, or curly dock, or Rumex crispus, and this is Articum lappa, or burdock. And burdock grows into these broad, elephant-eared, large plants. And the curly dock stays very long and slender, and it's kind of a smooth texture. On the undersides, you can definitely tell burdock, because burdock has this real white, sort of off color on the underside, and real veiny. And yellow dock, again, is very smooth, almost like a cultivated spinach leaf. So they're not related, but the names may be a misnomer. So burdock secrete the burrs that would be probably the inspiration towards Velcro, and sour dock, yellow dock, or curly dock is a good spinach substitute. And curly dock because the edges here are curly. Yellow dock because, or it's also known as yellow dock because the root is yellow-orange. And sour dock because you can eat this raw and it tastes kind of sour when you eat it. Not too unpalatable, just a little sour. This burdock, even though you can eat the stems, you kind of have to cook the stems, but this plant is kind of bitter. The root itself, if you dig up the root and roast it, if you can get to it, of burdock, you can eat that as well off the fire. So both plants are edible and both tend to grow. As you can see here, they're growing next to each other. That's burdock. There's some dandelion, plantago major, which is plantain, and this is yellow dock right here. Alright, here's a yellow dock coming up that has the skeleton of the stem from last year. And you can kind of see here, this is where the seeds would have formed and fallen off to reproduce itself. But then you see it coming up again in its newer, low-lying form. So this is yellow dock. Again, this is an edible plant. The leaves, you can harvest it right about now. And I tend to blanch them and put them in the freezer and add them to pot herbs. Some greens with maybe, some, bacon or some ham hocks, yum. Or I can add them to lasagna. Or as a spinach substitute, or in addition to spinach, or I can add it to a different other type of, as a topping to pasta or pizza.